Okay, so I had a video fully recorded, and in that video, it was about 3 lessons that I have learned over the last couple of days. Rather, they're lessons that I relearned, and I was gonna share those with you, except I'm not.
No, God!
In fact, I'm only gonna share with you one lesson that I think is pervasive across all of those other lessons and makes the other two kind of like, forget. Let's just talk about this one lesson that I feel is the most important thing that you can do to whatever it is that you're doing today. This is the thing that will change the way you operate. Hi, I'm Dave, and I make things. Oh man, I'll tell you what, there's nothing more frustrating sometimes than recording an entire video and finding out that it didn't hit. I don't do that often, but every once in a while it happens. And that's exactly what happened. That's why I tossed that entire, it was like a 36-minute video that I was gonna chop down, but instead of chopping it down, I just tossed it in the bin. But the beauty of tossing it in the bin is that it left open an opportunity to really focus on what it was that I wanted to actually talk to you about. Those 3 lessons are unimportant. It's this one lesson that's essential. Actually, before I even go there, I'm gonna need more coffee for this. Okay. Where were we? Okay, so this is my 3rd time shooting this particular portion of the video. First time, it failed. Now I had to create a new piece to wedge in between the other 2 pieces. That's why I'm not wearing the sweatshirt anymore, because I'm all hot and bothered. 3rd time is that the first time I didn't even actually hit the record button. That kind of day, folks. Anyway, so the lesson today, the lesson from this point forward is take more chances. A friend of mine gave me a 1-week pass to masterclass.com. If you're not familiar with masterclass.com, it's basically, it's like a training, but it's all these top level, A-level type celebrities of, writers and directors and artists and designers and fashion people, makeup people, dance, all the different things that, create from a creative standpoint that you can think of. My friend gave me a 1-week pass because he bought into the whole thing, and he said, hey, I've got a 1-week pass. Do you want it? I said, yeah, because it's actually a video or training that I've been looking to do. If you happen to use the hashtag of graphic design or creative work at any point in the last, say, 3 to 6 months, you've probably seen the ad for the masterclass with David Carson. Not familiar with David Carson? He's essentially, he's a graphic design hero legend, and he's kind of been my long-distance mentor since I even got into the industry. His masterclass just went live a couple weeks ago, and I was super eager to check it out. And it didn't disappoint. And not every single aspect of it applied to me, because there's a lot of it that deals with or talks about, doing client work. And I don't do a whole lot of client design work anymore. In fact, I haven't done it in probably over a year. But, I'd rather work for myself than work for somebody else. That's my own personal point. But if you are a designer of any ilk, I highly recommend it, because his thoughts on design are what inspired this whole conversation. Because he reminded me that I was hedging my bet. I was not taking the chances. The one big lesson that I took away from that is that I wasn't taking enough chances. I haven't been taking enough risk in my work, and it's something that I cyclically go through. I'll go through these moments where I do radical stuff, and I'll back way the hell off. And then I'll do radical stuff again, and I'll back way the hell off. And I feel like sometimes what I have to produce here on YouTube, both this channel and the other channel, is I have to do stuff that's backed off quite a bit, because I want to be accessible. I want to make it easy for people to follow along. I don't want them to be challenged too much, because they might bounce and not subscribe. Oh God, that is so lame of me. Folks, I'm sorry. But it's at this point in my career that I'm gonna challenge the hell out of you. I had this book in my personal library for a very long time. This is called End of Print, and it's actually by David Carson, the man that I took the master class from. And it is essentially my Bible. Not only does it talk about all of these things that I'm discussing right now, and it also talks about his process, it talks about his thoughts around these things, but it's obviously visually stimulating to the point of, for me, it's this is like, God, man, this is like porn for me. This is design porn. I look at these things, and all I think about is I want more of this in my life. I don't mean I want to consume more of David Carson's work. I want to do it myself. I want to share that with the world because I feel like there's not nearly enough of that. Not nearly enough of really good, challenging, thought-provoking, alarming graphic design. This is the dashboard for my website, and currently I am actually making some changes to my theme, some customization, and I want to share something with you, and it's this bar right here where it says rich text. Essentially, it's just me typing something out. And as you can see, it's currently hidden. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm gonna unclick this so you can see what it says. Practice fearless creativity. What I've learned about myself and about other people who gravitate toward my work is our innate desire to feel good about making whatever it is we make. There's also a contingent who are looking for permission to pursue the work that rests deep in their hearts, but for some reason they have resisted the urge to chase after that urge. I'm gonna have to reword that. Allow this space to be your permission slip to go after the creativity that is rightfully yours. Aside from how it's actually poorly written and I need to probably reword it, it's very telling that I had that hidden from the world. But it's not anymore. In fact, let's go ahead and hit save right now. Ta-da! It is now active, and if you look at this website right now, it's right there. In fact, I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna move it above this newsletter thing right here. I've got some other changes that I'm gonna be making here, so some of the stuff that you're going to see is actually gonna be reflective about this idea that I've had, this thing that I've been challenging myself with in my own head for the last few weeks. I've had this concept that I want to do regarding my website. I've hedged my bet. I've told myself, well, should I or should I not? Should I or should I not? And now it's like, no, I should, and I'm going to. And by the time you see this video, it'll be done. I don't want to go into too much detail, but basically if you just go to daveconnery.com, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm essentially changing how I operate. And the reason I'm changing how I operate is because I've learned some things about myself. And the number one thing that I have learned about myself is that people come to watch me do what I do because they like how I do it. They like how I show up. They like how I talk about things. So my position on my website is going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to be focusing so much on all the different things that I've made, but a few key elements, a few key items that I want to share with the world, and I'm going to change those up periodically. Because I think what's more important is how I show up for you guys here, and how I show up in other places on social media, how I show up like when I write my newsletter, or if I post on my blog, or I post on my Patreon. If I post on all these places, that's more important to me than having a wide diversity of different t-shirts available. Will I still have different t-shirts available? Yeah, but I'm trying this experiment where it's gonna be incredibly limited. I want to just say like, hey, I've got this thing. If you want this thing that I'm offering at this time, there it is. This is an incredibly radical notion and it could fail miserably. But I won't know unless I take the chance. And I feel like I've got the opportunity to take the chance. But I also feel like there's an opportunity for you to take a chance too. It may not necessarily be as extreme as me doing more radical graphic design stuff. It might be a little bit different than what you're currently doing now, because sometimes you just gotta have to take a baby step outside of your comfort circle so that you can expand your comfort circle a little bit. You take that baby step and you take the next baby step and you take the next baby step, but maybe you're not taking those steps because you're scared, because you're worried, because you don't want to ruffle feathers, make waves, do any other kind of idiom where it causes other people to feel anxiety or uncomfortable tension. But let me put it to you as bluntly as I possibly can. Nobody ever changed the world by making a live, laugh, love t-shirt. They changed the world by taking chances. That's my homework assignment for you this week. What is one thing, one area, one place in your life where you can push yourselves a little bit further than you're normally comfortable with? What is the risky thing that you can do this week to try and make some dramatic change in how you operate and how you affect others? That might be a scary as hell notion, but I promise you it will be liberating if you just give it the chance. And that's it. That is the lesson that I have relearned this week, and now I'm sharing it with you, and I hope you do something with that. And if you did something with that, or you're wondering what you should do, or you want to talk about that, go down to the comments below and let's start a conversation about these things that you're a little bit trepidatious about, because it's time that we talk about taking these risks that are going to make positive change on the work that you're currently doing. And I guarantee you it's not happening in the circle that you're currently in. Step out with me. Oh, also, if you were thinking that this was going to be the video where I share the 2 t-shirts that I bought through the Printful and Printify, not yet. The shirts have not yet come. Both of them are currently in fulfillment, and they will hopefully be shipped out to me very, very soon. We are taking tabs and notes on all of this stuff, and I will report to you as soon as I have them both in hand. Hopefully, next time you see me. Fingers crossed. And on that note, I'm going to get out of here. If you did go down and make a comment, I hope you, while you were headed down there, you hit that like button. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you feel like you want to see more of this content. And if you do subscribe, make sure you hit the bell because you want to be notified when I post, because YouTube ain't going to tell you. They're just going to be like, oh, okay, well, you want to be subscribed, but we're not going to really share it unless you ask to be shared. Happy week to you. I've been Dave. You've been awesome. Go take more chances and make more stuff.